10-second, we'll go. We're going.
Well, it just came in, members of the council.
City attorney and assistant city attorney. So
They have one of these?
we'll make sure they'll get a copy of this.
I sure wonder.
I'm going to call to order this listening session of the Bloomington City Council. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Because of, as I said, because of the big group, it's a tight time frame, so we're going to have to limit everybody to about 6 minutes and make sure that we get a chance to talk to everybody. And we'll try and hear as much as we can, and the council will probably ask questions as we go along here as well. Everybody's cool with that. All right. Ed, you are first up. Do it, sir.
Well, for the benefit of those that may not have time to read this, through it very quickly. Talking about code section 21.301, which has to do with large trailers that people have around their home sometime. This code details the size and conditions for trailers parked or stored in a residential district. This code seems to suggest that all the described trailers are work trailers. And I don't agree with this, but it does not clearly define what a work trailer is. One could assume that all work trailers are for the purpose of storing or moving construction materials and the tools that are associated with this. I made an inquiry seeking the details of this code, and I was told it was made because of such being unsightly to neighbors that drive by. I agree with this, and I have an understanding of why they have such a code. However, the code has an interpretation that creates a problem, as it further states in the code that, quote, trailers used for storage or transportation of recreational vehicles are not subject to these codes, or these size limits. Sorry. The inference is made then that its objectionable appearance on the outside changes when the inside of the trailer capacity is changed. So if it's empty, it's still the same as if it had wood and construction materials in it, or if it has a snowmobile or an ATV. A lot of people know when they drive by what's in there, but they object to the appearance of it if it's a work trailer. I only ask that careful consideration be made by the city employees prior to naming all people that have such trailers in their driveway as being a violation. They make civil citations, threaten fines, assessments, environmental health problems, building inspection issues, police and other enforcement responses for so-called nuisance conduct. I became personally involved with this code issue recently when I received a notice correction of conditions from Mr. I can't pronounce his last name, but Tan, his first name is something Tan, saying that my trailer was in violation. I have no issues or complaints about Mr. Tan. I think he's trying to do his job as he interprets it. He has extended the deadline for me and my trailer until May the 15th, which is some help, but not possible to comply with because of my health and the weather. I'm able to plead my situation to Mr. Tan to my satisfaction. I called Lynn Moore, Environmental Health Manager. I recommended leniency from the threat of civil actions against me based on my particular circumstances that were not in my control. Ms. Moore was somewhat aware of me and my trailer as she'd been copied by Mr. Tan's notices to me, which I've gotten 3. She listened carefully to my concern and warmly assured me that no action will be taken against me so as to allow me ample time, perhaps to the mid of the summer of 2023, to remove the excess household and office stuff that I have, and I'll be able to comply with the code, as ambiguous as it is. I assure you that I do not want a trailer in my driveway, but I need it. My health and the weather will permit me to empty the snowmobile trailer, which I call it, and it'll be gone. I intend to be present to me. Well, here I am. And my wife would be here, except she passed away recently, and the trailer came into our lives to help us. The original issue that I brought forth still remains the same. How does a city resident change their objections when they drive by because they can't see if it's for work to cover a recreational vehicle or empty. It's just there. Now, excuse me. I want to make a few comments that I'll do very quickly because I want to show you or give you a demonstration of or indication of what my particular problems are. Recently, I was in Mayo Hospital in Rochester and I had a major surgery of which there's only survive about 20 or 25% people survive this. While I was there, I learned that my bookkeeper of many 20 years or more, my business was 38 years old, she stole $640,000 out of the business account, went to the casino and lost it. I received less than $100 from the penitentiary from some fees that they got collected from her. The Hennepin County sent her to prison, and I received less than $100 compensation. At different times, I'd get $6 or $12 from something they got from her. I needed to close my very successful business, which took me 38 years to earn what was lost. My dear wife of 65 years became very ill, and I cared for her in our home for over 2 years before she was admitted to hospice. That was late in 2021. This demanded 24/7 bedside care for 11 months. I did nothing but care for her. I had no time to unload. She was an artist, and she had 2 bedrooms full of her supplies and her work. And I was wanting to clean that and her clothes out. And I haven't been able to do all this. Well, she passed away in August. And
Mr. Schmidt?
yes,
I'm sorry to cut you off. We're pushing the time limit.
talking as fast as I can.
I understand that, but I want to make sure everybody gets a shot, a chance at this. Let me just say these couple of things. First of all, I'm sorry to hear of your wife's passing. I really am. And I'm sorry to hear of your health issues as well.
I have another one. I got a brain bleed.
Oh,
I had an artery in my brain break recently, and I've got that fixed. But it take a while for the dried blood to get absorbed, and I get back to normal because it's putting pressure in my brain.
got it. And I'm sorry you were I'm sorry you were the victim of a crime as well. That's terrible, and I'm very sorry about that. We have had we've had conversations over the years on this council about the difference between a work trailer or a recreational trailer. I understand what you're saying and agree. We need to ambiguity. We need to find a way to make sure that ambiguity is more understandable. I agree with that. But I will also thank you. I'm glad Lynn Moore was able to work with you, and I'm glad by midsummer you're going to be able to comply. So we can make sure that we can get to compliance with the regulations and code. So, but thank you so very much. Thanks for coming in today.
Okay, that's it.
We got you all signed in, correct?
Oh, I signed in right away.
Very good. Good. Thank you for coming. Kristen. No, Kristen, why don't you come on up to the table so we can get you on the microphone as well.
I'm here for 2 reasons.
And Kristen, if you could state your full name so we have it on the record.
Mary Stifter. All right, so we've been having issues with our neighbors for a very long time. But the city and the police station have been going back and forth about many things, not getting any answers or any resolution on our end. So I'm here for a couple of things. First, I'll start with the nuisance issue that was going on at my house. September 29th, I got 2 notices in the mail. First one was the abatement notice. Second one was the incident report. These are due to my significant other, which is not here tonight. But we're breaking a harassment order because supposedly my significant other had contact with the neighbor's husband and minor son. That was the first one here. Second one here is reaching over a fence divided by the property of my neighbors and us, which I have to go to this part here. Both of these say that he broke the HROs versus our neighbors. And then we got, we got another one on Halloween
Yeah.
about pouring a substance over a fence.
Talk.
Pretty minor things, first of all. He went to the judge, was seen in front of the judge, and was acquitted of all these things. I have paperwork here. I was still charged a $250 fine from you guys saying about this nuisance thing, even though he is treated right here saying that he did not do this stuff. He was not committed of it. He's tried to talk to many people and nobody knows anything. I paid the $250 fine. Now, you guys have sent it over to Richfield to have Richfield criminally criminalize him for it. Doesn't make sense.
What does Richfield have to do with this?
Supposedly, when we went to court about it, there's a conflict of interest. There's 4 attorneys here in Bloomington, right? And we've only dealt with Kevin one time. So I don't know how that works, first of all. Second of all, Richfield pretty much saw it as a big mess. So I'm a little irritated. I paid $250. He was acquitted of all of this, and you guys are still trying to charge us. Pretty big.
Understood. And I think last time you were here, you've been before us before, if I recall.
I came here because I had no answers. I got some answers.
And I think we asked staff to maybe spend some time with you and trying to answer your questions, your direct questions that came forward. Did that happen? Were you able to get answers to the questions you had at that time?
At that time, I got a little bit more information and I had more resources. But the city says it's a police station problem. The police say it's a city situation. I've talked to multiple sergeants, commanders, and everything. I've been working my way up. But one says it's a city issue. One says it's a police issue. I don't know what to do.
Got it. We will, as we did last time, I'm going to have somebody walk out with you, make sure that we have contact information and do that. And we're going to make sure that you get a chance to sit down and we'll figure this out, work through it. Now, I can't say for certain that you're going to get answers that you agree with or that.
Oh, I just want to know answers.
But I can assure you, we'll figure it out and we'll answer the questions that you do have to make sure that you understand it better. But again, I can't guarantee that isn't to say we're going to waive off this $250 fine.
And I'm not asking for that.
But I will make sure that you understand the process and understand why we got to this point right now.
Okay. Then I also went down to the city to complain about some of the city codes that are going on in my neighbor's house. They have a light with a camera. The camera is faced toward my property. The light shoots off one way towards theirs, one way towards ours. It goes right into my living room window, my door as well. My kids' bedrooms are directly across. If I don't have something to cover the windows, it goes directly into her room. That's not fair. I brought it up to city inspector multiple times. He said he's done everything. Well, it's still going into nothing's changed. I don't think they've even moved the light, nor the camera. I have photos of it. I have even a video of me walking out of my bathroom, going into the living room, and their light coming on. That tells me that not only can their light come on, but that means their camera's looking into my house. Okay, that's a privacy issue. They've also put up one in my backyard where the middle of, well, it's on the corner of theirs facing mine. I have a chicken coop that I applied when Josh Hall said, you have to do this, this, and this. Everything's right there. It's in there. I walk up to my chicken coop. I am on camera from them. That's the middle of my yard. I feel like that's a privacy issue. Now, I believe Josh Hall and Sergeant Norling, maybe, had came out and talked to him. They said they had to remove the light bulb. They haven't removed the light bulb. Talked to Josh. Josh says it's in compliance. I don't think it's in compliance because it's still shooting into my living room and my front door. The camera was supposed to be pointed downward. It's literally 3 feet that the camera is supposed to be looking at. I don't know why it has to go to the middle of my backyard. Okay? I also want to ask questions because I got the lovely bill in the mail this week. I want to know why I was charged a bulky item and management fee. I talked to Waste Management this morning. They said that the city is in charge of that. So what do we have to call the city supposedly, and they will pick up the item. I don't know what that is because we never called. We never had a bulky item. Everything's always fit in our recycling and our garbage.
My guess is the way that is worded, that I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. Brugge, but I think that's probably, we charge folks for our annual curbside cleanup, the cleanup.
Yeah, but that's
The cleanup work that we do on an annual basis to try and reduce the amount of junk in backyards and make sure it doesn't go into landfills and that it's reused as much as possible. So everybody gets that charge. Now, there's a separate charge. If you do have a couch or a mattress or something like that, if you put it out, then you would be charged that as well. But on a, what is it, quarterly basis or?
Twice a year, twice.
Twice yearly basis, everybody in the city is charged that same fee.
The bulky item management.
Yep, to pay.
It's the name of it.
Yep.
It doesn't match to what you probably are used to.
Okay, because last time it said curbside pickup.
Okay, now, Kristen, we're at time right now, and again, I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity. I'm going to make sure that somebody steps out and makes sure we have your contact information. We have an opportunity to answer the questions that you have, and
I just want the harassment to stop because it's coming from there and another couple other places in the city.
understood. Thank you. Sally? And Ed, if you're able to, we try to kind of use this areas that, okay, thank you.
I can see that coming.
Just chair.
Tonight I'm asking council that they revisit the vote approving retail and medical in R1. At the hearing, it was stated that spot zoning is against the state statute. Although city did not change zoning, the city did achieve spot zoning by changing the city code. The planner's web states spot zoning is the process of singling out a small parcel of land for a use classification totally different from that of the surrounding area for the benefit of the owner of such property. The city changed the city code for Northwestern Chiropractic College, a small parcel of land for a use classification, retail and medical office, which is totally different from that of the surrounding area, and it was for the financial benefit of the college. Planner Webb continues, and to the detriment of other owners. Usually there is a development review committee that discusses impacts of uses in the city. And this case, there was no minutes, and so it appears there was not a meeting. A review is needed. Additionally, unlike a conditional use permit process that requires written notification to neighboring properties, changing city code does not. And therefore, less likely the city would hear from other properties in the area. The city code added retail and medical office as a permitted use that applies to additional properties, and yet the city only considered the one property. The city code as approved now allows as a permitted use 20% of Normandale to be medical office, and neighboring properties will not have a say. Normandale is about 800,000 gross square feet, 20% is 160,000 square feet. The average target is about 40,000 square feet, so Normandale could have 4 times that amount for medical office. The average size of a clinic or other outpatient healthcare facility is about 15,000 square feet. Normandale could have about 10 times that amount for medical office. Property owners in other areas of the city zoned for medical office that likely pay more for land due to zoning could be negatively impacted and will not have a say either. Spot zoning is against the state statute. And again, although the city did not change zoning, the city did achieve spot zoning by changing the city code, and that should not happen. Will it happen again? I asked the city, can the city limit the city code change request to colleges and universities if another incidental use requested retail and medical office? Can the city say no, and why? The city reply was they believe, and city feelings are not needed. Facts are. Why can the city decline another institutional use request? Penn Avenue is a good example where zoning was passed, and later, although not all council agreed with the intensity of a use request, the request fit the zone. A couple additional concerns. When the city was asked, is there a shortage of office and retail space in the city that the city needs to zone more land for office and retail use, and did the city determine that should be R1 zone property? The response, there's not a shortage of office and retail space in the city. There's not a shortage, then it does not make sense to convert R1 to office and retail, and the data does not give reason other than financial need of the college. The response continues. The medical office and retail uses at Northwestern already exist today. No additional medical office or retail use is proposed with the application. This response is inaccurate. What existed is an accessory use of 10% for medical office. The college is using 11% and will be permitted a commercial use of 20% for medical office. During the hearing, there was a question about dental offices, and the vice president of the college stated, we do not intend to open a dental office. We are focused on the programs we provide. Later, the vice president comments about Argosy, a dental school at the college, having closed. The point, although the college does not now intend to open a dental office, if a dental school were to return to the campus, then a dental office would be permitted. Thanks.
Thank you, Sally. So you know how this works. If people would like to revisit that vote, they'll bring it up at our council meeting, or our council, during the council meeting at the end, and our council issues and update. And the fact that it was a 7-0 vote, I don't know that anybody's going to bring it up and look to change that. But if they do, that's when you'll be able to see it happen.
It'd be nice to hear a discussion like the spot zoning, city code spot, achieving spot
We
zone.
had the discussion the night we approved it.
And
We had the discussion on it.
not about how this achieved the same thing as spot zoning. And are we going to see more in the city? Is the council on board with this unique way of,
Someone on our legal staff who knows the law brought that up as a possibility, so I'm not concerned about that.
and then,
Councilmember Nelson, you had a question?
Yeah, if you could help me clarify my memory here, Mayor. When we discussed this as a change to R1 zoning, not to a specific change to that parcel.
That's correct. That is correct.
So in my mind, that would not be spot zoning. That was R1 related to university uses specifically throughout the city. So that would not be, it was not
Correct.
specific to that.
that's.
And
I
just
stated.
take a lot of proposals that come forward, someone who sees an issue with our zoning, they do a privately initiated thing and we look at it in totality for the entire community. And that, from my recollection, is what we did there. We did not look at it just specific to that property. Is that right?
That's exactly right, Councilman.
I didn't see,
Why our legal staff was perfectly comfortable with us moving forward. Our planners, everybody who understood it was perfectly comfortable with us moving forward, that it was indeed not spot zoning.
I didn't see, again, it wasn't spot zoning. I said it achieved spot zoning. And secondly, I didn't see any data where they did the numbers for how much medical office would be at Northwestern, but they didn't do the numbers how much medical office would be at Northwestern. They also didn't discuss if another college came into the city, they would process a conditional use permit, but then later they would have a permitted use to change some of that to office. They could go in and
Sally, where-
conditional use, okay?
Thank you. Come on up. We'll start with you two. Come on up.
First time here, this is fascinating stuff.
Tell me about it, man.
Good evening. Thanks for coming. Again, if you could state your names we have for the record and fire away.
I'm Jason Reinen.
I'm Charlene Schley.
Yep.
Why my mother did that to me with the name, I have no.
Mind if I go for it?
Go for it.
All right, I just
I've spoke to them before.
got my thoughts here. I'm just gonna zip through here. So like I said, my name's Jason Reinen. I have a small family. We moved to Bloomington November 2021. 5-year-old in kindergarten, 2-year-old. My wife teaches 2nd grade.
Cutest girls you've ever seen.
I was a nurse for 16 years. Now I'm self-employed. Just as of this past year. So prior to moving to Bloomington, we lived in Minneapolis for a year, and prior to that, we were in Seattle. When we moved to Minneapolis, we bought a duplex. We lived in half of it, rent out the other half. That's been our practice since my wife and I bought our first home. It's worked very well for us and allowed us, it's just been really fruitful for us to take care of that major expense, usually the number one expense. So when we decided to move, we found a fantastic place here in Bloomington. We, as a group home on Penn Lake, Lower Penn Lake, acre, and it's kind of like a dream home for us to be able to be on a little lake. I fixed up the first level, we moved in, and then I fixed up the lower level. It already had a small kitchen, full-size separate entry, 2-bed, 2-bath, living room, just a full unit. Put a lot of work into it, investment, and opened up a operated short-term rental, kind of ignorantly. And it was fantastic. 21 out of 21 5-star views, met people from all the country, exposed my kids to stuff. It's financially beneficial. It's great for them, great for the, for the guests as well, for all the different situations. Then we got a letter from the city, saying over a 30-day, under a 30-day stay is not permitted, scared me. I said, okay, I'll comply. And then I'm try to learn more. And so my pivot was to have a rental, which I've done in the past. I'm familiar with all that. Came down to City Hall and kind of got kicked down the line saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. We only have one garage on our property. So we're not allowed to have a rental, period. You have to have 2 garages for a single family rental, 4 garages, 4 garage stalls for a duplex. There's all these restrictions. So that's the restriction that stopped that. Mike, the city planner, was very helpful in trying to find a way, but there really isn't a way right now. So in reading further in the Code of Ordinances, Article 8, Rental Housing Code, little blurb, couple lines, it says, B, the provisions of this Article 8 do not apply to, the first one on the list is owner occupied homes. I'm owner occupying that home. We've been doing it for years. It's pretty common for us, familiar. So in my interpretation, and the council I've sought, it seems pretty clear that I'm exempt and allowed to host guests. I don't know. I might be told differently, but that's what when I dig into that, that's what I see. And since receiving that letter, I've thought a lot about short-term rentals in Bloomington, and I'm just going to share a few points real quick. One, a commonly discussed negative of short-term rentals is impact on the local housing market. Mainly it decreases the fact that it decreases housing supply and increases housing prices. But with owner occupied short-term rentals, it doesn't have that effect because, properties are not being purchased solely for short-term rentals. They're being occupied by the primary family or owner, and in turn not taking away from a family that would live there otherwise. Number 2, short-term rentals do not take away from hotels in the area, in my opinion. None of our guests would have stayed at a hotel if we weren't there or if they had to leave. They would have gone over to Richfield, Edina, so on and so forth. We offer something totally different and unique to the hotel experience. You can barbecue on my patio. You can take the canoe out. You can play with my kids. You can do, it's not the same. And it was pretty clear to me in my hosting. And short-term rental platforms collect and pay hospitality taxes, just like hotels do. Airbnb, for example, you pay a hefty fee to stay. And that's rolled in. And lastly, our guests bring revenue to local businesses. I've referred so many people to go to a Vietnamese restaurant, 9 Mile Brewery. It's written on my guidebook. It's, I guess, ask for referrals. People walk down the street, get takeout, bring back. It's good for local small business, I think.
Jason, we're pushing time here.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Wrap up paragraph.
I'm gonna say thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for what you brought forward. And I will tell you also that the issue of short-term rental is on the planning commission's work plan for this coming year. For the planning commission to take a look at it, for the council to reevaluate, because we've made some decisions in the past, and it's a discussion we've heard it from other folks before. So I think it's a discussion that we'll have.
I think my main point is we don't really have an option, and this was our main plan.
Yep.
And if we can't do that, we're literally going to have to.
Really quick question, and we got one more yet.
I don't need an answer right now, but I'm curious about the parking because the issue
Yeah.
related to the garage
Yeah.
is about off-street parking versus on-street parking, and have your guests had to park on the street?
No, we have a limit to the
So-
amount of cars they can have.
Right.
Then I think.
And we used to have a group
That
home,
we
so we
can-
have a good sized
In my-
driveway.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to make sure that we get everybody a shot here to talk, but thank you for bringing that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
My point, do I get time yet or are we moving on?
I kind of grouped the two of you, if that's okay.
That's what I assumed, yes.
Yes, if
My points are pretty much the same as Jason's.
Very good.
I've talked in front of you before and made the same kind of points. And I have actually been doing the rentals for the last several years. You guys haven't scared me off because I didn't have any other choice. I with health issues with my mother and myself, and I'm in construction and everything going downhill with that, with COVID, I would have lost my house. And my house is already triplexed. I live on the first floor. I rent out my basement level, the mother-in-law apartment that I would not be renting out to individuals on a long-term basis. They get to be a pain in the ass. Second floor, I do rent out long-term, so I do have people up there. So I do supply both long-term and short-term rental. And I have a big garage and I have an even bigger driveway. So I've got everything that I need. And the city coming and inspecting the second floor unit has said that I have a spotless record. He's never heard one complaint about anybody in my Airbnb or my long-term. And he said that he suspects that my long-term rent or my short-term rental is probably as nice as my long-term.
Okay.
Said it's better than what he's seen most places. So.
We
Thank
met
you.
recently and
Thank
we
you for
found we had a lot in common. So
This place is
Appreciate it.
full.
it's awesome.
If you want to talk further in advance of that coming up for a work plan, give me a call.
Come on up. We will,
Yeah, I will. I'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
Happy to.
council, we're officially past time, but if you will indulge, if we could
Love it.
spend an extra 5 minutes here, just to make sure everybody gets a chance here.
Thank you so much.
Yep, not a problem.
All right. My name is Michelle Vaghi.
And I'm Ashley Keith.
So we're here representing Continental Ballet. Thank you so much for letting us squeeze in here. I am a Bloomington resident, but also one of the company instructors for Continental Ballet. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Continental, but we are a professional ballet company and school that was founded here in Bloomington in 1988 and are one of the founding members of the Bloomington Center for the Arts. And we are a company that it is our greatest desire to bring the arts to as many people as possible. We do that through performances. We have a very long history of going into schools, nursing homes, senior living facilities, and offering free performances to the public in several parks throughout the Twin Cities area. So briefly, we find ourselves in a unique and exciting position right now. Coming out of COVID, it was challenging for us as it was for lots of arts organizations, and we questioned whether or not we'd come out on the other side at all. And we're finding ourselves in a position where we have had probably one of the best seasons that we've had in years. Every single performance of the Nutcracker here at the Schneider Theater sold out. We had similar success with our traveling shows that we perform all across the state. And we have a great group of dancers right now who are passionate about sharing dance with others too. And we're coming to the city because we have developed a plan for growth that we believe will benefit the city of Bloomington and its residents and the surrounding areas. We're still working through the details of this plan, but it does include increasing the number of performances, increasing our public outreach through free performances in the Bloomington Public Schools, nursing homes, and public performances in the parks, improving our website, and increasing access to ballet lessons to low-income residents of the city of Bloomington. So we are coming to you and we'd like to ask for $100,000 of supplemental funding to help us achieve this ambitious growth plan. And we do believe that through increased revenue, through ticket sales, that we could offset that cost in about 5 to 10 years. So that is what we have.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for your organization. You do great work. I've seen plenty of things.
Thank you.
And I really
Yeah.
enjoy it and appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming forward with the request as well, and with the plan. It's something I know we've with the financial support for artistry, we set ourselves up for this, haven't we?
I thought you'd be thinking that, yeah.
Exactly, that folks are going to be important and saying, well, what about us as well? And it's an entirely understandable request, given what we've just done. So this needs to be a conversation of the council and of staff and of our artistic community, and we'll It's definitely something we'll take under advisement. I'd love to see if you have more detailed information. We'd love to see
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
And just a bit better understanding of exactly the requests that you're making and what the outcomes might be.
And there's this, difference, and we recognize that we're coming from a position of, we're not like in debt, we came out from COVID
Yeah.
doing okay, so it's.
Yeah,
not like-
we're like, I think we, pride ourselves in coming from a position of strength.
Right.
And like showing hopefully that we can, this is our 35th season. So, I think that's a sign of good management.
Yep. Very quickly, we got to get moving here.
Just to
Yeah.
kind of cut to the chase on a couple of things.
Yeah.
If you can,
Mm-hmm.
bring us, like, the information about what you're gonna use the funding for.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Information about like, why us versus anybody else that you could have talked to, right? Like if you can, I have a feeling that you probably know the playbook is my point of because of what we've been through. So if you can set yourself up for answering those questions ahead of time,
Sure.
it'll help us out a lot.
Absolutely.
We'll be asking them anyway, so you might as well kind of anticipate some of those. They'd be the same questions we asked along the way with the artistry thing.
Sure.
Right? What's the plan? Why us as opposed to other funding sources?
Yeah.
Right? Who else have you talked to and and that kind of thing. If you can't meet your needs, like explain to us like how you plan to pay it back regardless, or
Right.
it's not a loan, it's a grant, then like, that kind of thing. So just help us out with the.
Yeah.
numbers there. That'd be great.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks for your time. Yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks for your indulgence going over a little bit. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. We've got to get downstairs. We got 9 minutes and
All right.
typically in years past, we've gone sprinting down. So this is
That's not bad.
fine. We're good.
It does, it does.